Hello, and welcome to another episode that is produced by Friends of Terry Virgil. I'm Terry Virgil, the host of this program. The name of the episode is It is Very Clear Obama Hates Freedom and Liberty, and this is what we are going to really express today, that Obama does hate freedom and liberty, because here's why. Congress gave him an ultimatum to either sign the bill that would repeal Obamacare or to have this or have Obama's veto overridden. I am 100% sure that Obamacare will get repealed because there are enough votes in Congress to override Mr. Obama's veto. Anytime you got a thug, a tyrant, acting like an emperor or a king, trying to get his way all the time, means that he is one that hates freedom and liberty. Let's face these facts, that this is the case, this is the true case, and this is the only case. We could give you history lesson after history lesson after history lesson after history lessons of this true fact. The real true fact is, if you look at history back in the 1700s, our founding fathers tried and tried and tried to get King George to kind of have representation by, if he's willing to tax the people, at least have them represented, well represented, not have up these idiot type of governors and other type of people here to make up whatever they wanted to do in order to enforce the laws here in the United States of America. That's and English laws. The colonists really truly loved the idea of let's put it this way, they wanted to have their rights and freedoms to be able to control the government according to English law and to govern themselves. Let's face that fact and face that fact as reality. But the one thing that you gotta look at and you gotta see in this case would be, in 1776 we gave King George an ultimatum, and we declared war by declaring our freedom and liberty. That's true. Most every American, matter of fact, everybody that lives in Britain should know that. The other thing that we got to look at here too, and if Obama wants to do what he's doing, he's actually declared war against freedom and liberty. And that there is very upsetting. And we know that Hillary Clinton won't repeal Obamacare. We know that Bernie Sanders won't. Bernie Sanders being a socialist. And I'm trying to figure this out. Why would a right-winger run as a left-winger? But that's beyond. O'Malley won't. None of the Democrats would want to repeal Obamacare. We know that. We know that there are Republicans that are running for president now that would do this. But, hey, let's face facts. You got to repeal Obamacare for a couple reasons. Number one, it's against the Constitution to be force mandated, or even to be required, or even be controlled to do anything. Yes, I don't have insurance, and I refuse to buy insurance, and I refuse to get insurance myself. It's called being a very good person under something called civil disobedience. I would encourage each and every one of you out there listening to this program to do exactly that. Civil disobedience. What are they going to do? They could fine you, big deal. You pay the fine, you keep on going. It's cheaper to pay the fine than to pay their stupid premiums that they got through Obamacare, because it keeps going up every year. I was just looking at something in the mail that I had, and it came from, believe it or not, the Department of Health and and yeah, what's that called? Medicare and Medicaid, talking that gotta pay this, gotta pay for Medicare, Medicaid. Yes, I'm old enough to get it, but I'm not going to do that at all. And the word "got to" is there. You must do it by such certain date. By the time you pay taxes, you know what I have to say? I have a unique place for that. It's called a recycling can, called a garbage can. So we could do it that way. We could easily just say enough is enough of these idiotic stuff and go on and live our lives free with freedom and liberty. What I'm doing is exactly what they did with the Stamp Act and dumping the tea into Boston Harbor back in 1773. So anyways, that's part of the problem about a tyrant by the name of Obama hating freedom and liberty. The other part is the fact that Obama claims that he does not want to get rid of the ownership of guns, but yet he wants to put something called gun control on people. He wants to be able to be the judge of people, whether they are have mental health problems or something like that, where they can't have guns. Well, how do you determine who's got mental health problems and who doesn't? So that's the one thing that you gotta look at right there. How do you do this determination? Who's got mental health problems and who doesn't? Is Obama a doctor? No, he's not even an attorney. Because I found a little unknown fact that there's no record of him even graduating from any university like he claims. Or Michelle. If there is, I'd like to see it, because that, believe it or not, sitting in the White House, being underneath the public eye, means that you got to show proof of everything you claim to be. That's called having integrity. Of course, we know none of the Democrats, none of the liberals, none of the communists, none of the socialists have any integrity at all. We know that there's some Republicans out there that don't have any integrity, and personally will not have any integrity. They are people that are what we call liars, thieves, murderers, and everything else. We know for a fact that if you look at the Clintons with integrity, we know Bill Clinton has no integrity. Therefore, Hillary Clinton doesn't have any either, because she would have done something about Bill Clinton's sexual activities in the White House. And yes, it is fair game to bring up his sex acts, because those were violations and misdemeanors of the law. Not prosecuted, but hey, the guy was impeached for it, so if he wants to have a conversation about that, he can. Matter of fact, I'd even have a radio blog or even a podcast about that with him sitting right here interviewing him. Of course, that won't happen because the moron doesn't. Let's put it this way: the moron wouldn't show up anyways. It's like if I wanted to have a interview with Obama, that moron, that imbecile won't show up. Same thing with Hillary Clinton. That moron, that imbecile surely wouldn't show up. But let's get back to our topic at hand here a little bit. We didn't get off topic, I'll tell you the truth, but you gotta say it this way. It is very clear Obama hates freedom and liberty. We know that. Matter of fact, seeing that the moron Obama decided to do a couple things by stating that he's in favor of clean climate control and wants to enforce something that he feels very strongly over. let's put it this way, clean climate control. If you look at Agenda 21, everything in there is based on one fact: the government controlling your life and the way you live and how you do it. Very simple. I looked at something underneath HUD, HUD, or the Housing, Urban, and Development. Well, I live in a rural area. How would that affect me? Very simple. They will force people like me where I live, out in the country, peacefully, into these mega cities so that they could control, watch, and see how you're doing and who you're talking to and who you're not talking to. And how you vote, by the way. That's what they want to do. They want to make sure that you vote as a communist would. You've got one choice. That's it. Vote communism or don't vote at all. That's the way it goes with that idea. Let's also say it this way, too. If you have that idea and the government saying, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, and you got to do this. Well, believe it or not, I own lakefront property. So what the government's going to say is that I got to do something with my shoreline. Well, needless to say, you know what, if they want me to do something, they're going to have to pay for it. Because I'm not doing it. I refuse to do anything on my shoreline. End of sentence. So civil disobedience is the right way to go. Take a look at those ranchers out in Oregon. I made a mistake and called it Montana, but it's actually Oregon. To me, those ranchers have every right to do what they're doing. It's called civil disobedience, arming themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. There's certainly no harm in arming themselves, because just in case the government decides to do something stupid like they did in Waco, that's part of history where our United States government decided to seize a compound. Yes, that was an occult group where a man claimed to be Jesus Christ and really wasn't. It's just a human being that got probably sent to hell by God. But that's not me judging that. That's just me saying that as a statement. Let's put in another thing that Obama wants to do. He hates morality. He hates people that live moral lives. And he hates people that believe in being moral. He loves immorality and living a lifestyle as a immoral person. Sexually immorality, believe it or not, is a threat against freedom and liberty. Here's why. I've been listening to those people that love to live the lifestyle of immorality. I've been kind of sitting on the sidelines listening to them. And what they say is, pastors must do this. Pastors must do that. People that want to bake a cake must do this or must do that, must deal with business. Private business owners, in those cases, have got to do it their way, for them, with them, because they say that they have the right to choose what they want to do, but they have to force. Now, in that case, you would say immorality. Sexual immorality, which is same sex, by the way, marriage. And that's what I'm referring to. I'm not going to call it by same-sex marriage. It's kind of obvious. But anyways, those that believe in that garbage, that falseness, that propaganda, and believe that a person should get married and or want to have a wedding cake, and they want the baker to bake them a wedding cake, well, that should be up to the person that does the baking, if they want to do it or not. That should never be forced. That's like sticking a gun up to a person and robbing a bank. That's exactly what it is. or sticking a gun up to a person and